Thank you for being here, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is your gentle morning flow. It's about 60 minutes, so we'll be on here for at least an hour. Like I already said, if you need any props or anything, bolster, blocks, blanket, towel, whatever it is that you might need, this is going to be a gentle practice, so it won't be too intense. Maybe you need a sweater. That's what I've got on this morning. But we will begin lying on our backs. So find a lying position that works for you. You can have the legs extended. You can have the arms open really wide, taking up lots of space. You can have the knees bent, the feet, soles of the feet on the floor. Whatever feels good, let's go ahead and get started. So coming to a comfortable lying position on your back. Find your space. Find the quiet, find the calm of the morning. Notice how your body feels this morning. Does it feel tight? Does it feel pent up with energy? And then begin to become aware of the breath, the qualities of the breath. As you take a big, deep inhale through the nose, expanding the rib cage, and a gentle exhale out the mouth. Big inhale, filling up all the space in the rib cage with air. Gentle, let it flow out the mouth. Notice where the breath is taking you this morning. Is it taking you inward? Is it taking you into your body? How can you expand that breath, elongate that breath just a little bit more? Be at ease with the rise and fall of the belly and the rib cage, maybe the chest. Following that natural flow of breath, you don't have to try. Once you feel tapped into the breath, ask yourself where your mind is at. What are the emotions or thoughts or feelings coming in this morning? And how can you pause those thoughts or emotions and just find yourself in the present moment here and now? Maybe that even means feeling those emotions a little bit deeper, but how can you take the time to find yourself in this space, in this moment, present and aware of everything that's going on within and around you? Take one more round of deep, deep breath. Exhale, let it all out, maybe with an audible sound, HA. From there, if you don't already have the knees bent and soles of feet on the floor, bring those soles of the feet closer to the bum. And then just kind of feel around where your low back is in space. Maybe wiggle the hips side to side. Maybe rock them back and forth, backwards and forwards. Just kind of noticing where the hips and the low back are in space in relation to our feet and our legs and our trunk. And then gently on an inhale, we're just going to slowly float the arms up and overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to float the arms back all the way down by our sides. A few rounds like that. Inhale. Just flowing the arms with the breath. Warming up those shoulders, giving them some movement. Then on the last one, open your arms out wide. Inhale. And then cross the arms, one elbow over the other. Give yourself a big hug. Fingertips reaching for opposite shoulders. And then inhale, open up again. Switching sides, stack the opposite or elbow on the other. Really breathe into this motion. One more round each side. Give yourself a hug. And last one, thank yourself for being on your mat this morning. And then on your next inhale, you can release the arms back toward the side and bring the knees up in toward the chest, feet reaching to the back of the room. You can either just keep them there or you can use your hands on the shins to pull the knees in. And maybe rock back and forth a little bit here, side to side. Just loosening up the lumbar spine, the low back. Just rocking and feeling yourself in your body. And then come to stillness again, even weight on the back. And then begin to take circles with the kneecaps, maybe opening up toward the side, dropping them down, and bringing them back up toward the face. Use the breath as a tool to keep you in sync with your body, to keep you in rhythm. And then just reverse the direction, whichever way you haven't gone yet. Open the legs up, close them again. Use the hands as a guide. They don't necessarily have to be pushing or pulling. Last round. Then bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Extend the left leg out. Keep the right knee in and clasp both hands over the right shin. And just wiggle that leg back and forth for a moment. Keeping the left leg straight. You can even flex the toes back toward the face. And then from here, grabbing onto the outside of the right leg and twisting, pulling that right leg over toward the left side of the mat. Falling outside the mat. Right arm can reach away from you toward the right as you shift your gaze to the right fingertips. Taking a nice gentle spinal twist. There shouldn't be any pulling here. Just let the leg fall over naturally, however it does. And then on your next inhale, bring it back to center. Straighten out that right leg, sole of the foot to the sky, and then clasp the hands behind the leg wherever it reaches. It can be really nice and low on the thigh, back of the thigh. It can be kind of in the knee pit. It can maybe even be up higher on the calf. Whatever feels good. If you like a deeper stretch, give yourself a little bit more. But if you just would like to feel a gentle release in the hamstring, pull the hands down a bit, maybe rock it side to side. Just feel your bones attached to your joints. Maybe roll out the ankle on that right foot that's lifted. Good, and then just bring it all the way down, straight legs, and switch sides, bringing the left leg into the chest. Straighten out that right foot, flex the toes. And then just rock the left leg side to side. Gently just massaging that hip crease. Staying present with your breath, with your mind, and in your body. And then bringing that left leg over to the right side of you, reaching the left fingertips out toward the left, and just let that knee fall over. Gazing the eyes over to the left fingertips. Deep breath in, feeling that side waist. And relax. Inhaling and exhaling. And then gently coming back to center and just straightening out that right leg, bringing the hands on the back of the thigh, knee, calf. Maybe massaging the hamstrings a little more. And then just release that leg down. Bring the soles of the feet back toward the bum again, flat on the mat. Press the hands, the palms into the mat here. And we're just going to slightly, gently push into the feet and lift the hips up off the mat. This is so gentle. We don't need to push with our glutes like we're doing a hip raise or anything of that sort. We're just gently and release. And inhale, rise it up again. We're just gently pushing up, activating those leg muscles, wakening them a little bit. Exhale down and inhale, last one. Beautiful job. And bring those knees back into the chest. Straighten out the legs a little bit. We're just going to activate the abs here for just a moment. Really flex those toes and spread them apart. And then gently, you're going to slowly just lower the legs just a little bit until you can feel the abs activating. And then we're going to lift the hands up off the mat, lift the head and neck, and just hold here. Deep breath in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, keep the neck lifted. Pull the head toward the knees. And release. And then we'll just start to begin our rock and roll. So rocking, using the legs as momentum, flicking them back and forth as we roll up. Feet almost touch the mat. And then back down, just rolling on that spine a little bit, getting that good C curve. Do as many as you'd like, and then come to an all fours position by crossing the legs, planting the hands on the mat, maybe scooting back into the center of your mat here. Spreading the fingertips wide, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And just find some movement in the hips here, maybe rocking side to side. Maybe doing a little bit of a circle with the hips. We're just finding some movement in those big joints. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, come to stillness. Begin to arch the back, lift the chest, press the heart forward through the gates of the shoulders. Lifting the tailbone, and then exhale, round, tuck that tailbone under and the chin toward the chest as your back, upper back lifts. Inhale, lift it up, look up. Take in a sweet sip of air and then exhale, round. Find a more fluid motion as your breath connects. Inhale to exhale. Connect the movement so there's no pauses in between. This might mean rocking back and forth on the hips a little bit. Just take it super slow. Being present in your body, aware of what your body's doing and what your mind is thinking. And then come to stillness as you begin to walk the hands forward toward the corners of your mat. And then slowly just gently drop the chest down toward the mat. Resting the forehead on the mat here. Allowing those shoulders to open up. And then come back up onto the hands. Come onto fingertips and walk them back underneath the shoulders. You can even take them a little wide, about as wide as the mat. And then we're just going to do some scapular movements. So we're going to drop the chest down into the middle of our shoulders. And then we'll push out of the scapula, out of the shoulder blades, up and open up that shoulder blade area toward the sky. So it's not a full cat-cow. It's more a drop of the chest down into the shoulder joint. Inhale. Exhale, push the shoulder blades away from one another, opening up that space. Inhale, drop it down. Try to keep the elbows straight. If you want to come back onto flat hands, that's totally fine. Try to just focus on the shoulder blades here. Shoulder blades touch as you drop down, and they push away as you push up. All right, and then coming back to center, wiggling a little bit on the shoulders, back and forth. And then we'll take our first down dog of the practice. So planting the hands into the mat, tucking the toes underneath, and pushing those hips up, 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 until you can come to hopefully a flat foot. But if the heels are still raised, that's completely okay. If the knees need to be bent to push those heels down, go ahead and do so. And then just either find stillness or maybe walk out the hamstrings a little bit by pushing one heel down and lifting the other up, pedaling out the feet. Find even weight distribution on those palms. Make sure we're not dipping into the heel of the hand. Really press into the index finger and thumb. And then push up and out of those hands, activating the shoulders and the trunk. And then from here, we'll slowly start to tiptoe forward toward the hands. If you need to let the hands go to walk forward a little bit, you may, and then drop the upper body over the knees as the knees lay bent. Take a deep breath in and then just sigh it all out. Maybe wiggle the head, yes and no. Allowing you to come deeper into a little bit of surrender with gravity pulling the head down. One more deep breath in and exhale out the mouth, HA sound. And then slowly begin to roll up to standing. You can use the hands on the knees and the thighs to walk yourself up. Slowly, last thing to come up is the shoulders. And just wiggle back and forth on the feet. Notice where you're planting the most weight on the feet. And then hands come by the sides, palms open, facing forward. Notice if you rest on the outsides of your feet or the balls of your feet or the heels. And just even the distribution of weight there. Feel what that feels like to be more conscious of how you plant your feet into the earth. And then on your next inhale, arms will sweep up overhead, look up to the sky. And then exhale, just slowly melt down back over those knees. And then we'll rise back up again. Inhale, roll. Come to the top with your hands overhead, arms sweep out to the side. And then just gently fold. Let everything melt down as you exhale. We'll take a few rounds like that, rising up on the inhale. Arms reach out and above. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Really use the breath here. Last one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold down. And then stay down, forward fold. Use the legs to have a good stance. And then inhale, press the hands into the shins as you halfway lift the chest and the heart forward, keeping a straight spine. Maybe tuck the tailbone a little bit. Engage that core and then drop it down again. And we're just going to step back into a down dog. So right foot and left foot back toward the back of your mat. Beautiful. And then let's widen this down dog stance so you can shorten it up a little bit too if it's more comfortable. But keep the feet as wide as the mat and keep the hands usually where they go. Just feel the difference. Gives you a little bit more space here. And if you're feeling like challenging your balance this morning, maybe you just lift up onto one hand, lift the left hand up off the mat. Then maybe you reach for that outside of the right ankle with the left fingertips. If you don't get very far, or maybe you're higher up the leg, that's totally okay. This is just a test of your balance. And maybe if you have good balance and you're staying here nice and solid, maybe you twist the chest toward the right. And then release. And then find a little bit more strength in the left palm as you reach the right fingertips up off the mat and reach them toward the left outside of the leg. And maybe you turn the chest to the left side. Very good. Bring it back to center. You can keep the legs wide. Doesn't really matter. We're going to come down back onto our knees. And then maybe sitting into a child's pose or maybe just sitting onto the heels. Take a moment to just breathe. If you'd like to come over the legs into child's pose here, resting the bum on the heels, keeping the arms extended or folded back behind you. Just incorporate all of the energy that's been on your mat so far. Beautiful. And then slowly start to come back into all fours here. Hands are wide, fingertips are spread. Palms should be underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips, just as we had before. And we're going to slowly move that left hand toward the middle of your mat and then come up off the right fingertips, twisting the right fingertips up and the chest toward the right. Hold it there for a moment, and then on your exhale, bring those right fingertips through between the hand and the legs and drop that right shoulder onto the mat. Just feeling a nice twist here. Giving the shoulder a little bit of a pull. Not too much. And then walk the left hand back toward the face so you have a good base of balance. Bring it all the way back up, reaching those right fingertips up. And then bring it forward and release it down. We're going to go straight to the other side here. So bringing the right fingers and hand and palm into the middle of the mat, lifting up off of the left. And then bring those left fingertips through the space between the hand and the leg. Drop that right shoulder down, or left shoulder down onto the mat, looking toward the right side. Maybe you want to extend the right hand out forward in front of you, or just keep it where it is. Use the breath here. Your body might say, hey, I'm in kind of a weird position, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be somewhere you have been before. It doesn't have to be somewhere you have experienced and felt comfortable with. All right, and then gently coming back up, all the way, reaching that right arm or left arm up to the center. Sorry, I'm on the other side. And then come back to all fours. Beautiful. From here, extend that right leg out. So the toes are on the mat, but the leg's extended. And then you can either keep the left toes tucked underneath or flatten the foot down. Lift those right toes up off the mat, creating a long line of energy from the crown of the head all the way back through those right toes. And then even out your hips. Notice where your hips are in space. Maybe drop the right one down a little bit and then rise it up so it's even with the left one. Good. From here, if you'd like to extend the left hand up and forward, creating one long line of extension, you may. But if not, if you're just challenging your balance here, that's completely okay. And then from there, we're going to bend that knee into the chest, almost like you're touching with your nose. And then extend it back out. Take a few rounds like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, curl it under, knee to nose. Exhale, reach. You can do this with the arm extended again. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach. Last one. Exhale, knee to nose. And then release it back into all fours. Maybe shake it out. That left leg is going to feel a little bit of intensity. And then we'll go straight to the other side. So planting both hands into the mat, right knee a little bit more into the mat, maybe tuck those right toes underneath. Extend the left leg out, fingertips, toes touching. And then gently lift it up off the mat in line with the hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you'd like to extend the right hand out, do so now. And then curl, exhale, curl the knee to nose. Inhale, reach out. Extend. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, last one. And then come back to all fours, wiggle it out. Beautiful. And then come to a seated position on your heels. Hands on the knees, and just start to roll the shoulders back a little bit. Roll them up and back. Maybe tilting head to one side, one ear to one shoulder. And then the other side. From here, we're going to do a quick exercise to open up our shoulder blades again. So we're going to cactus our arms on an inhale, bending at the elbows 90 degrees. Open up that chest, lift that heart. And then exhale, we're going to wrap the right elbow underneath the left as we take our eagle arms. So the right fingertips are reaching for the palm of the left hand. Good. From there, we'll open up on an inhale. Exhale, switching sides. Left elbow underneath. Left fingertips reach for right palm. Let's do that again. Open up to cactus. Exhale, right arm underneath. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, left arm underneath. Really feel the opening of the shoulders here. On this last one from here, we'll inhale, reach the whole eagle arm up toward the sky, just a little bit. And then exhale, we'll curl it under, rounding the back. Inhale one more time. Lift up, look up. Exhale, round, tuck the tailbone as well. And then exhale, come back to center. Inhale, reach those arms to cactus one more time. We'll take the other side. So whichever, I think it was left arm on top, right arm underneath. And then we'll inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, curl under. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, one more curve. Beautiful. Shake that out. Maybe give yourself a little bit of an arm wiggle. Shake, shake, shake. Maybe you want to shake the fingertips out. Whatever feels like it needs some release from all that we've done so far. And then coming back onto all fours, we'll take another downward dog. We'll tuck the toes under, lift the hips up. Find whatever is comfortable for you. Down dog does not have to look a certain way. It's how it feels. Want a long straight line from the shoulder, from the palms all the way to the hip, and from the hip all the way down to the heels. And then on an inhale, rise up onto tippy toes. We'll walk forward again. Forward fold. And then rolling all the way up to standing, reaching the arms out to the side. Inhale. Exhale, bring it through heart center as you fold over the legs if you have the balance for it. Inhale, rolling up again, reaching up. And exhale, hands through heart center, fold down and over, lifting the bum up. Maybe straightening the legs, or you can keep them bent here. Inhale, halfway lift, press the hands into the shins. Use the core. And then fold. On your next inhale, step that left foot back behind you. Coming into a quick high lunge, and then lower the leg down into a low lunge here. On an inhale, lift the heart, lift the chin. And then on an exhale, just kind of round the back a little bit. Shoulders, tuck the chin to chest. Nothing changes with the legs. Inhale. Lift and look up. Exhale, round the shoulders. This time, inhale, lift and look up. And then exhale, start to push the hips back in space as that right leg begins to straighten. If you do need blocks or something to raise your hands up a little bit, grab something that helps you do that now. It can be pillows. And then as that right leg starts to straighten, come to a space that feels right for you. So if it's a little bit of a bent knee here, totally fine. If you want to push all the way back and straighten, you have room for that in your hamstrings, go ahead. And then we'll take a breath flow with this motion. So on an inhale, we'll plant that foot back down onto the mat. We'll lift the heart and the chin. And then on an exhale, we'll just push back as we pivot on the heel, toes reach back toward the face. I keep saying fingertips, I don't know why. And then inhale, reach forward, bending in the knee. Last one, exhale, push back and hold in your half split here. Take a few deep breaths, letting that hamstring release. Send a lot of that breath down toward the hamstring. Giving it oxygen, letting it know it's okay to let go. And then on an inhale, come back into that low lunge. Maybe do away with any blocks or props you might have. And walk that right foot out toward the outside edge of the mat here, bringing the hands in between in the center of the mat. From here, we're just going to slowly push into that right hip. We'll breathe and we'll feel all of those sensations that we feel in that big hip joint. Maybe you even want to rock yourself a little bit back and forth. It's completely okay to explore in your shapes, in your body, in your practice. All right, and then from here, we're going to do a fun transition. We're going to tuck this back toe underneath. Keep the hands nice and planted. Lift up off of that left knee and maybe take a little spring step forward into a squat. If the squat is a lot for you right now, you're welcome to come up and maybe even sitting on a block or something that allows you to have some kind of support. Either way, or just dropping down and pressing those elbows into the knees, opening up. If this is a lot for you right now, maybe you take a little bit of an option where you push the hips up, straighten the legs, and then come back down. Giving yourself a little bit of a break if the mind is panicking. Let your mind know it's safe to explore. It's safe to take breaks. And then maybe you find a comfortable place where you can hold it. Maybe you don't. That's okay. Your practice is whatever it is today. And you're here in this moment, so you're not thinking about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen in the future, right? From here, we're all going to press up now. Hands on the mat. Push those hips up. Straighten out the feet. And then maybe walk the heel toe, the feet a little bit closer together. Coming into a gentle forward fold. From here, we'll slowly roll up to stand. Finding a nice, steady stance. Noticing where we keep our weight again on our feet. And then arms circle sweep up overhead. Exhale, fold all the way down and over the legs. We'll take a few more rounds like that, rolling up. Arms reach up overhead on the inhale. And exhale, fold it down. Inhale, rolling up, last one, make it big, make it good. Make a huge stretch and then melt all the way down over. From here, we're going to straighten out those legs as much as possible. Press the hands into the shins, straight back. And then exhale, we're going to keep the left leg planted this time as we walk that right foot back behind us, or step that right foot back behind us, and then dropping the knee. Grab your blocks if you need them. We'll start with just that gentle scapular movement. So inhale, press the chest forward. Feel the extension in that back leg. And then exhale, just round, bringing the chin to chest. Keeping the legs the same. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round. Inhaling, look up. Exhale, round. Maybe notice as you round, you feel a little bit more tension in that right hip flexor. And then inhale, look up. This time we'll practice rocking back, pushing those hips back in space. Come to whatever position feels right for you, and then grab any props that you need on either side of the leg. Bringing those toes toward the face. Hold here for a moment. One breath cycle. And then on your next inhale, you'll rock forward into your low lunge, lifting the chest and the heart. Taking a big sip of air and then press it back. Straighten the leg as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be whatever it is. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhaling and come forward. Press into that hip flexor. Exhale, push back. Press into that hamstring. Last one. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, push back into the hamstring and hold. Bringing breath through your body down into that leg. Keeping the upper body, the trunk nice and straight. Back doesn't need to be curved or rounded in any way. Perfectly straight. If you are noticing your rounding, that's pulling on your low back, so flatten the back and lift up. It's not about how far we dive forward, it's about how much we feel it in our hamstring. Okay, coming into your low lunge one more time. Do away with blocks if you need to. And then heel toe that foot over to the left side of the mat, bringing both hands in between in the center of the mat. And we'll just hold here for a moment as we really feel into those hips. Both hips should really be feeling something. We should be feeling a nice stretch and extension in the right leg. We should feel kind of a groin stretch in the inside of the left leg. One more deep breath in and an exhale out. And then from here, we're going to tuck that left or right leg up and out of the low lunge. We'll start to bend using this left leg as kind of a momentum. Right leg, I keep saying. And then step forward into either your yogic squat again, or if you would like to widen out the legs and take a wide leg forward fold, that's good too. Give you some options. If you're in your wide leg forward fold, maybe rock back and forth on one leg and then the other. You can bend, you can straighten, explore how your body feels today and what those connections and those muscles are doing for you, or maybe not doing. Shake out the head and neck, give it a good release. If this isn't very comfortable, remember you can go back into your yogi squat at any time. All right, and then coming back to center, walking the feet in toward the center of the mat, so you're in a nice gentle forward fold. And then we'll bend the knees deeply, deeply, deeply as we slowly come into like a tiny mini chair and lower down onto the mat. Beautiful. I'm just going to turn to face you. You can stay on your mat however you would like, but your mat is long. So if you'd like to face the middle of your mat, we're going to bring one leg extended, right leg. We'll bring this left foot in toward the inner thigh. And then we can either oscillate between two options or stay in one and then the other. But first, we'll begin to drop that right shoulder toward the extended leg, maybe bringing the fingertips on the inside of that calf, and then slowly opening this chest, opening the heart up and toward the left side. You can keep your hand reaching up toward this center of the room, center of the ceiling, or you can start to rock over to the side, bringing the fingertips toward the right side of the room. If you'd like to oscillate, on an exhale, you're going to drop down, push those hips up, and then drop the hips down. Exhale, come back to your side. So on an inhale, drop the hand down, reach the right hand up, push the hips, and then down and over. If you'd like to just stay in your stretch, that's completely fine too, whatever feels good for you. Sometimes dynamic movement versus static, it's just a preference. Last one, if you've been moving with me. Beautiful, and then bring this right leg in toward the center, and we'll just meet our soles of the feet together. We can bounce the legs. We can create a little basket with the hands and wrap them underneath the outside edges of the feet, keeping a straight spine. And then if we'd like to, start to bend at the elbows and come forward. Give yourself this moment to just be within. Close the eyes, feel the sensations, feel the breath. Ask yourself what this practice is doing for you today. Maybe it's like hitting the reset button, and maybe it's like just finding a calm, peaceful time for yourself. Just ask yourself, what is your practice like today? Good, and then from there, we're going to extend that left leg out, bringing the right sole of the foot toward the inner thigh. And then we'll begin to drop the left shoulder down toward the leg, reaching the fingertips in toward that calf. And then gently spiral the right rib cage open, fingertips reach up. Hold here for a moment, and then if you'd like to come with me, we're going to drop that right hand down, press the hips up, lift the left arm up, and drop it back down, reaching over. Really focus on the sides of the body here. Feel the sensation when you reach up and when you reach over. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop it down to the side. Really flow here with the breath. Last one. Lift, expand, and drop it down. Reach over, and we'll hold here for a moment. Feel that side stretch. If you need to, if you notice this right shoulder collapsing over, open up the right hand up toward the sky. That's going to keep this shoulder open and the chest reaching forward. Then you can deepen the stretch. And then coming back to center, opening up the legs this time. Coming into just a wide-legged seated forward fold. Go however you can. So if the knees are here, we'll just stay here. Maybe we walk the fingertips down a little bit further, or maybe we just stay up. Maybe we start to straighten out the legs, wiggle them a bit so they feel like they're in the right spot. And then reaching those toes back toward the face. Notice if they're splaying open or if they're rounding forward. That's just a matter of where your legs are in your hip joint. Try to keep the toes directly over the ankles. And then gently folding forward. Maybe you come onto elbows. Maybe you're staying up. Wherever you are is just right for you in your body. Really give yourself this time to reflect, to feel. This is a big stretch. This is something that can come and ruin your whole practice if you let it. But I challenge you to do away with the judgments, that inner mean girl that's telling you whatever it's telling you. There's no need for that right now. There's just the need for surrender and presence. Good. And then when you're ready, start to press into the hands. Walk the upper body up and vertical. And then slowly, using the hands, you can take the knees. We're just going to keep those knees nice and wide. Place the hands behind you on your mat, and then we'll just drop the knees to one side and then to the other. Nice and slow. Just giving your legs a chance to rotate in that hip socket. Finding a little bit more mobility after being a little bit stagnant. And then widen both knees out and drop them down toward each other. Find a nice gentle breath, wave of breath. And then come back to center. And just find yourself back on your back once again. Maybe scooching the hips forward and then rolling down. You can bring the knees into the chest. Maybe rock side to side. This time, we're going to take a little bit more of an active bridge. We're going to place those feet down onto the mat, nice and close to the bum. Maybe walk them a little closer. And then hands or palms facing down onto the mat. And then we'll just start with some pelvic tilts first. So right now we're at a regular situation with our hips. But what we'll do is we'll start to push the pelvis back in space. So tucking the tailbone up toward the backs of the legs. And the hip bones will rotate down toward our face. And then on an exhale, we'll take that opposite. So we'll tuck or push the tailbone down into the mat as our hip bones lift up toward the sky. And then you can also place the hands on the fingertips on the hip bones here, and then use the hands to kind of guide as we push them down into the mat as the tailbone lifts up. And then we push the tailbone down into the mat as the hip points lift up. Keep rotating like that at your own pace. You can go faster or slower, whatever feels good for you. And then we'll neutralize the pelvis once again. And we'll take all of our energy into the feet. So find a little bit of pressing action out of the feet. And then slowly lift up with the hips, tucking that tailbone toward the calves. So not all the way up toward the backs of the legs, but toward the calves. And push the hips up and up toward the sky. Nice bridge pose. Doesn't really matter how high you get. It more matters that you're keeping a nice long line in your body. And then drop it down. Let it rest for a moment. One breath cycle. And on the next inhale, pressing the hands into the mat, pressing the feet into the mat, lift up. Coming onto the shoulders. Maybe tuck one shoulder under and then the other and stay here if you're comfortable. Or maybe you're untucked and you just drop it back down And then let the hips reset and push back up again. Option to stay or oscillate between dropping down and pushing up. And if you're staying here, everybody drop it down. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to take another option of spinal twist. So this is spinal twist with eagle legs. So we're going to plant the right foot into the mat, lift that left leg up and over, crossing the legs. And then reaching the hands out to a T position. We're going to drop both legs over to the right side. Just feeling a bit of a difference in this spinal twist than you did before. Really pulling on all of these muscles in our side. Gaze over toward the left. And use the breath to fill up the space that's being twisted. And as you exhale, feel a little bit more of a twist occur as you vacate the body of air. Use the breath. Listen to each wave of the breath come together like an ocean. And gently coming back up, release the legs. And just switching sides, plant the left foot, lift the right leg up and over top. And then drop it down toward the left side. Just let everything relax. Gaze over toward the right fingertips. For some of us, this can be quite intense. If we'd like to put a block or a pillow underneath the knees, you're welcome to do that. Use the breath as a tool to twist deeper, to feel deeper. Last round of breath before we come back to center on the exhale. And then once again, we'll walk the feet as wide as the mat and drop those knees down into each other, into the center of the mat. Just allow them to rock back and forth, or maybe just stay still, whatever feels best for your body. And as we near the end of our practice here, if there's any extra poses you'd like to take, our last one is going to be Happy Baby and then Shavasana. So now is your chance to find a pose that you'd like to explore before we begin to find our final pose. If you'd like to come with me into Happy Baby, lift those knees back up in toward the chest. Grab onto either the feet, the ankles, the shins, or maybe even just pulling from behind the knees on the thighs here. Opening those knees to either side toward the armpits and just maybe rock side to side and soothe the back a bit. Maybe find yourself opening up the inner thighs a little bit by pushing the elbows onto the knees. Whatever feels good for you today, do that. Find the ways that soothe yourself, your body, your soul. Maybe you can straighten out the legs and rebend. Be a little playful here in your body as we wind down. Do whatever movements feel good at last. And then whenever you feel ready, find yourself in a Shavasana. Legs and feet can be as wide as the mat, or maybe even wider if you'd like to take up more space. I'm going to bring a blanket into my practice this morning because my feet are cold. You're welcome to grab a blanket, grab a pillow, whatever feels nice. And then find stillness. Maybe untuck the shoulder blades, rotate them under so the collarbone opens a bit more. Relax the face, let the eyeballs sink into the eyes. Let the tongue drop off the roof of the mouth. Let the chin hang softly. Relax the point in the middle of your eyebrows. And then before we relax the rest of the body, bring the hands together if you'd like. And rub the palms together until you feel a bit of warmth. And then press the palms, the base of the hand, heels of the hand into the eyeball sockets. Feel a gentle pressure, gentle warmth. Whenever you'd like to release the hands over the eyes, you may. As you relax deeper into your Shavasana. Taking deep breaths in through the belly. Exhales to let out all of the old air that no longer helps our body. Your respiratory system is constantly going through a cycle of bringing in new and doing away with the old, and it does it automatically, and it does it every second of every day. What if you lived your life like that? Once you've relaxed all parts of the body, go inward. Relax the mind. Relax the heart. Relax the digestive system. Relax the breath. And just be. Slowly begin to bring yourself back to the breath. Take a big, deep belly inhale and exhale. And then take the deepest breath you have of your practice. Filling up as much space as you can. Hold it at the top. And then exhale it out and let it feel so good in your body. And slowly begin to move whatever body parts would like to move. Maybe it's your fingers or your toes. Maybe it's your shoulders. Maybe it's your head and neck as they rock back and forth. Maybe it's your hips pushing one foot down and then the other. And when you're ready, take a full body stretch. Arms overhead, reaching to either side of the room as the toes. Fill your body with energy and then let it go. And stir and waken as much as you can. And then roll over to one side, knees bent in a fetal position. Resting the cheek on the bicep, inside of your arm. And whenever you're ready, feel free to come back up to center. Crossing the legs. Pulling out the fleshy bits of the bum and then finding a nice gentle seat on the mat. Taking our last final breaths together. Sitting up nice and tall, ready for the day, ready for the morning. And bring the hands, the palms together, pressing the thumbs into the center of the chest. Connecting all of the energy from one end of the body to the other. Ask yourself how today's practice went. Ask yourself what you felt, what the journey was like. Did you stay present? Were you able to ignore distractions? Were you able to go within? And if those answers are no, that's completely okay. Be forgiving of yourself. Thank yourself for being kind to you, for taking an hour out of your day to practice yoga, to take on something new, something different maybe just something that feels good to you. I invite you to take your last breath with me, and we'll end with an Om. So deep breath in. And let it out. Om. That universal sound that connects us all. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate your time and your energy and your kindness and forgiveness for all of the mistakes that I make throughout my practice and my teaching. It's lovely to be real and raw on this mat and take into account all of the things that you might be feeling, you might be experiencing, and provide you with a practice that helps you become the best version of yourself. So with that, I will let you all go. I appreciate, tea is cold. I appreciate you joining in. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care of yourselves. Namaste, you guys. Namaste.